Hey guys, what's going on? Dustin here. Behind me we have my 2004 Duramax. This is an LB7 right here. Same year they did switch over, later in the year they did switch over to the LLY, but today we're talking about the LB7. I'm going to tell you guys the common issues that you see with these LB7s. And don't worry, if you don't have an LB7 or aren't interested in buying one, then I'm going to make some videos for the other ones as well. We're talking the LLY, LBZ, LMM. We're going to do videos on all of them, but we're just going to start with the earliest generation, work our way up. So today I thought I'd take the dogs out to some land that my father owns and let them play around, and thought this would be a good place to shoot a video while they're doing their thing. So, like I said, this is my 2004 LB7 Duramax. Now whenever researching which one I wanted to buy, I calculated in a few factors. Of course, cost and issues. Those are the biggest factors whenever I was buying a Duramax. So I did a lot of research on these LB7s to see exactly what's wrong with them. So I'm going to give you guys a few points of things that you may incur and things to look out for. So of course, on a lot of these LB7s, the water pumps are an issue. That's kind of a maintenance part. It's going to go out on any vehicle pretty much. It's just kind of the location on them that it's a tough job to do and gets pretty expensive. So that's one thing you want to look at, water pumps on these trucks, especially when they start getting higher mileage. Another thing is head gaskets. Let me show you guys how the exhaust runs off of the back of the engine here. So I'm going to pop the hood on this guy. We're not rolling out yet, bud. We'll pop the hood. We're going to take a look back here. And what you're going to see is how the exhaust runs off the back side of the engine. It kind of runs by this head back here. So what you're running into is it's getting nice and hot back here, and you could potentially run into issues with the head gasket right here just because it's heating up too much. Not a huge problem, I don't think, unless you're, souping this truck up and, gonna run lots and lots of power. It's not a huge issue, but something to think about because head gasket replacements are very expensive on these trucks. And then let's get to the issue that I'm sure everybody knows, and it's probably the most widely talked about issue on these pickups, and that is the injectors. Yes, the injectors on these things are a pain. Now the issue is they're hidden under the valve covers. On this first generation, they actually put them under the valve covers. So you have to take off all this crap that's on top of the motor here in order to get those into those injectors. So guys, if you're having injector issues, definitely go ahead and replace all 8, and a lot of people like the Bosch ones. Just stick with Bosch. If you can find reman Bosch, that's probably the way to go. I wouldn't put anything else in there. If it was a newer generation, you could take the risk because it's not as a labor-intensive job, but this is a very labor-intensive job. I think it used to be 10 hours, but GM cut it down to 7 if I remember right. Now, the issue originally was that they would actually leak fuel, and I think a lot of that's been corrected. I would really be surprised if there's very many, unless it's just super low mileage LB7s, that haven't already had the injectors replaced, such as this truck right here. I bought it with 210,000 miles or so, and the injectors were done at 185,000. So these injectors are probably going to go for a long time. And so that's one thing that you need to check out and ask about whenever you're buying one of these trucks. Guys, those are really the big 3 issues on these trucks right here. The nice thing about the LB7 is there's lots of room to work under here. They're pretty easy to work on, really, except for the injectors and the water pump. I really like the truck. It's been a strong truck. I think you could argue, aside from the injectors, that it is one of the more reliable of the Duramax diesel engines. But like I say, guys, that is just my opinion. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think is the best Duramax diesel engine? Both reliability and performance. Now, if it comes down to performance, I'm going to give it to the LBZ, and I think a lot of guys would. All right, guys, really in this video, I was just covering the motor and the drivetrain, and I'm going to give you guys a bonus one here in a minute. But we're going to do another video on the actual body and frame and everything like that. That'll be a different video. It kind of spans from the, 2001 to 2006 and 07 classics on these style pickups. I'm going to do a separate video on that. This was just strictly the motor drivetrain. So the bonus one for you guys is the Allison transmission. Now the Allison is probably in my opinion, the best transmission of any diesel truck that's on the market today. And I mean, they're just stout built. Now this one has a 5-speed in it. And really, if you're not doing any tuning, if you're not souping the truck up, making it a hot rod, you're not gonna have issues with it, or you shouldn't have issues with it. But as soon as you start tuning it and adding more horsepower, you're gonna have to build that transmission, because as soon as that Allison starts to notice any slippage, it's gonna go into limp mode, and then you gotta try to get it out of limp mode. But if that's not something you're planning on doing, it's not something you have to worry about. Okay guys, that's about everything for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like on this video. Also subscribe, we got lots of content with this truck here. Hope it helped you guys out in making a buying decision, whether you're interested in an LB7 or not. And until next time, take care.